Hello, please, can you say that again? You were breaking at some point.
Okay. All right. I was asking, let's do a recap for you to talk about what you picked on yesterday. But let me be sure of who is Infinix Note 11 Pro, please. Please, could you introduce yourself to us? Infinix Note 11 Pro. Your mic is on. Just go on and talk, please. Your mic is on. Just go on and speak. Who is Infinix Note 11 Pro? Just go on and speak, please. Just introduce yourself. If you can hear me, it's okay to unmute and introduce yourself. Okay.
Hello, can you?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, my name is Nkiru. I just joined today. I wasn't here yesterday.
Yeah. All right.
My name is Nkiru.
You're welcome, Nkiru. And Ekene, we started yesterday with Ekene. I told you the nature of this class. Normally, I wasn't very certain how this weekend was going to look to be able to take the class. The class holds twice every month. This first weekend, second weekend of every month, and the last weekend of every month. But I needed to leave town, and I wasn't sure what the internet was going to be and look like. At some point, it was looking like it was going to be in a place that the network was okay. So I started accepting. So I decided to open it and just accept, and whatever the number is, let me teach. That was how we ended up with I think it was Ekene that just signed up, and at the time I decided to actually allow the class to hold this weekend. All right, so that's it. Ekene and Kiri, welcome. I'm also expecting Ekis. She's not here yet. She had told me earlier she was going to join us. Anyways, let's just go on. Ekene, you were about to share, do a recap of what you picked on from what we did yesterday, the introduction of yesterday.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so we talked, or I picked up basically what content writing was all about. Uh, the different types of content writing. I also picked up the difference between the online writing and the offline writing. I think that those were my key takeaways.
Okay, what can you tell us about the okay, let's talk about the difference. What can you tell us about the different types of online writing? Oh, we lost Ekene. All right, I hope we get her back. All right, so we said yesterday that the that there were different types of, I'm trying to get my slide on, that there are different types of content writing. We have the blog posts, the emails that we receive, they're actually a type of content writing. In fact, some people make money writing emails, and it's called email marketing. When you go on your email and you see Uche from Bolt, if you get Uche from Bolt emails, and maybe the ones from banks, all of that are not done by regular people. They are done by content writers, and most of them are email marketers. So that's why email is a type of content writing. We also have the ebooks is also a type of content writing. We have, I talk about blog posts and articles. So that's what we shared yesterday. And then social media posts, the popular one everybody talks about, the posts that you see on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all of the social media platforms that we know. They are all types of content writing. We also have copywriting, technical writing. But because you're here in Kiru, I will just go back and talk about the the okay, I think she's been able to reconnect. Okay. Okay. Okay, now you're back. At least you warned us that the network may be unstable, so no problem. All right. So I'm just go for the sake of Nkuru, I'll just go like really right back to
Okay.
yeah to talk about what content writing is. Content writing is a content, it's part of a content creation process that happens online. You know, when you look at since the internet came, the internet, as we all know, it changed a lot of things about how we do things. So everything that we say that's changed, writing wasn't left out. Writing was also affected, right? The way we do writing was also affected, right? And so think of it like a bottle, and the bottle is the internet. And so you have to fill this bottle, which is the internet, with content. And so we fill it with every day, millions of people fill it with things from video to audio to all kinds of things, including text. Yeah, including text. They also fill it with text. It's not it's and it happens to be the most common of the content that they fill it with. So while a lot of people are doing videos, while a lot of people are doing podcasts, which is on audio form, and a lot of people are doing other kinds of, you know, animations and all kinds of content that we have today, text, written text still dominates them. So out of the world's total population of 7.7 billion people, more than 4.2 billion can be classified as internet users. And these 4.2 billion people use mainly text, written content to do their work. Okay, so when you say 4.2 billion people are internet users, what it means is 55.1%, that's half the world, use the internet. And around half of that same world do written content. So you see that a lot of what we do today eventually ends up on the internet. Whether it's your report in your office, it could eventually end up on the internet. Whether someone sends it as an email, someone can decide to send off your report as an email, and then it eventually ends up on the internet. All right. So that's why that convergence has happened, the convergence of offline work and online work. And that's why you cannot ignore. So you see that you are at the right place at the right time, this moment, learning this, because we no longer write the way we ought. Even when you're writing offline, because you have an understanding of how online writing works, it gives you great confidence when you're doing offline writing, because you write it bearing in mind that it's going to eventually end up on the internet. Someone may take a photo, share it all over the WhatsApp, and when you do that, automatically your content has ended up on the internet. So that's why we no longer have to do it the way we want. We can no longer do it the way we were taught in primary school, composition and essay writing. No, a lot has changed, and it's really a great idea to, you know, bring yourself up to speed about what has really changed. And then, and that brings me back to the difference between online writing and offline writing that we talked about, and which is also, I've mentioned a bit of it. When I say a lot has changed, it means that offline writing and online writing, there's a major difference. I also went through that difference with Fury yesterday, and the first thing I mentioned was the length. The average amount of time an online reader spends reading anything on the internet is 2 minutes. And I say it's all even it's wiser for you to work that most people actually spend less, because, you know, I mentioned before that we have thousands of people billions of half the world trying to fill this thing called internet with so much content. And this happens on a daily, on every second content enters the internet, okay? And so that means the attention span, this what I'm saying that is 2 minutes, is even wiser to work that is now in a matter of seconds. And so most people come online, they don't really read. What they do is peruse. They peruse an article, they peruse your content, they peruse your social media this thing. All right. So now, does this mean that you no longer do long form content? No, you still do long form content, but there's a way it is done. And we're going to talk about it at the later part of this class. All right. So length is important. Printed pieces rarely even reach their main focus in the amount of time. Therefore, online articles tend to be much shorter than their printed counterparts. Of course, we know, the way books can be. Same with the paragraphs. The paragraphs of online writing is longer. I'm sorry, it's shorter than the paragraphs you see for offline writing. So instead of long segments of prose like you see in a newspaper or magazine, the paragraphs in online articles should end after a few lines. You don't pad it up and write it and make it very difficult for me to get away from the paragraph. We're going to talk about that as well at the later. We're also going to talk about that today. The next difference is the reader attention. Online articles have to fight for a reader's attention. Unlike your book, if you're tired of reading it, you drop it tomorrow, you pick it up. All right? But for online articles, they are fighting for reader's attention. If you know and you write with that mindset that you are going to fight for attention, what it means is that the most important thing about what you want to write about is what you put first, isn't it? That's how online writing works, all right? So even though readers generally go to an article or page intentionally, internet is highly interconnected. So most articles, maybe, you find moving images, links, flashing ads, and all the clickable content that is vying for that reader's attention. So even when they find your article, so many things are dragging for them to be able to, keep reading what you have written. So to maintain their interest as long as possible, all relevant information should appear at the beginning of your work. Okay? And because people are already used to that, that's a rule. I'll talk about that as well, the rules of content writing. And that's why, so that people don't lose patience. So you write it in a very simple, easy to read way so that they can navigate it easily. The next difference is links. Offline writing doesn't have links. Online writing have links. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you at some point, but fine. I can hear you now.
Okay. What did you hear last?
The second difference between online and offline. Talked about the paragraph, the length of the paragraph.
Yes, yes. That the offline writing, you can, do lots of multi-paragraphs. And but online writing is always important that you give a breather and let the paragraph be something that people can easily get in and get out and not feel trapped in it. I'll get to talk about that much later. And so that's really the major difference for when it comes to that. And then I was talking about links. Do you understand what links are?
Links.
Yes, links.
Okay, I don't know, or maybe like an interface, connectivity between something and another.
Okay. Have you ever tried to read anything on the internet and then you hovered around some of the phrases and you saw that they were clickable? And when you actually click
okay.
it,
Those are hyperlinks that leads you to
hyperlinks, beautiful. So those links are actually part of, that's the major difference between online writing and offline writing.
Okay.
All right. So
yeah.
Offline writing doesn't have any links, but online writing can take you from that website. Once you click it, it takes you somewhere else. I will also show you what past students have done because it's also part of like the rule of how you should do online writing. Yeah. Okay. So have I defined? No, I just want to do a recap of yesterday. Content writing is an aspect of content creation in a content marketing process. So I talked about seeing a bottle and calling the bottle an internet, and then everybody trying to fill it up with all kinds of, not just water, we fill it up with oil in form of videos, audio, animations, movies, all kinds of things that you can think of and can find on the internet, including written content, okay? That content creation is a content marketing process. And so content marketing process has to do with you trying to sell an idea, trying to advocate for a cause, whether for NGOs, or trying to just sell your market. Just put it that way. So you use those content. So you're not just creating content, taking pictures of yourself and your children and all the going all your tours and your travels. And you're not just doing all of that now ordinarily. It's in this kind of situation, it's actually you trying to market, either you're trying to market your blouse or you're trying to market the handbag, or there's always something you're selling those content to market something. Okay. And so that's where the content writing aspect of it. Content writing is actually at the center of what we call content marketing today. All right. So that's content writing, an aspect of content creation in a content marketing process, and writing and editing, usually for digital marketing process, they are all in the middle of it. Okay, I see. Oh, okay. I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? I just saw your message.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Thank
we're
you.
just doing a recap, really, so you're not missing anything yet. I intend to start the one for today by 8:30. All right. Okay. So I've talked about types. I've talked about okay, before we get to skills, we were talking about the difference. Yeah. That's where we were. So we talked about links being we talked about links. So with what I've actually talked about so far, do you spot any other difference between online writing and offline writing?
I think you've said it all, but I just know that it's easier to be, much more activated. Okay, I think it's there already, the attention span. It's easier to be much more activated, what is it called? Much more attracted to reading online content than offline, because there are these distractions, which may not. Okay, so reading from the internet, there are little distractions like pictures popping up and going out. Those things for me help to captivate readers than books, that just have these bland looks, and then you just have to, be encapsulated in what you are reading. The content of what you are reading is actually the attention grabber there. But for the online, there are things, side attractions, I don't know, that can help to keep your eyes glued to that page. If you ask me, I don't know how best to explain this. The book is just, if you're reading a book now, the book is just there with the written things inside of it. But if you're reading from the internet, for instance, like, I don't know if you have noticed this, maybe reading from when you get an ebook, there are some distractions, pop-ups that could just come. For me, those things, somehow I just look at them and then I come back, I am glued back, to the book. I don't know how best to explain, but I see those things, they may come as distractions, but for me, they help to, just keep me fixed on that thing that I am reading on the internet.
All right. It's actually one of the very many differences. Okay. Just give me a minute. I want to.
Sorry, I don't know if I got the meaning of this SEO.
Yes, we're going to teach you. It's actually a separate class. We're going to teach, that one is for tomorrow. We're going to talk about SEO. It's a key aspect of writing online. Okay, it's a game changer, actually. So it's also a major difference between online writing and offline writing. And that's where the whole links thing actually comes in. But I wanted to split it because SEO is not just all about links, it's just an aspect of it. All right. Um, okay, so let's look at the skills to sharpen. Well, I want to stop sharing my screen for a moment. I need to fix something. Yesterday we talked about writing, and I had asked them, and she talked about her, was able to rate herself. Kira, have we done that? Have I asked you to rate yourself when it comes to your writing?
No, you haven't.
Okay, okay. Can you rate yourself when you look at your writing? How would you rate yourself on the scale of 1 to 5? How would you rate your writing?
I write pretty well, but I just have an issue which I don't know how to surmount. I don't know if it is age. I don't know. Somehow I could learn a thing or learn a word, and I so love this word, and I write it down, and I commit it to memory, and I use it maybe the first few weeks. Then sometime later in future, and then I want to write something. You get me thinking about that word. So bottom line, things I learn don't stay for too long, especially new words, vocabularies that I may want to use, or maybe new phrases, new expressions, and I hear and I like, or maybe I read and I like. I think, okay, when writing so and so, I think this would be best suited. But when it gets to that point, I tend to forget. But generally, I I think I am good. It will be a bit above average. I am good with the tenses. I express well. But I don't know. I think I just want more. Maybe just like the liver twist. I don't even know what I want, but I think I want more.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to ask them on the scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your writing?
Maybe four.
Okay.
Four.
Okay. Right. Great. And that's really great. Okay, but when it comes to online writing, with what we talked about now, that they're actually titled
Yeah.
writing and all that we just said now, when it comes to online writing, how would you rate your writing?
For online writing, that's quite different from what obtains in the workplace. I am a baker as well. I am also a civil servant. I bake. I have a page on Instagram. There was a time I was very active, but work took me for a very long time. So those few times I was active, I am able to, write. But the thing is, having to think out these contents, what you want to put out. For instance, I bake a cake and I put it down and I post it on the internet. Somehow I would have to think around what story do I want to tell? It's not always about come and buy my cake, come and buy my cake. There could be some other stories that the cake tells, or maybe the baking process and all that. So for me, where the issue is thinking out the content. But once I have an idea of what I want to write, it's not so much a problem writing it. But I know there are some people that are very, thinking our content is not a problem for them. They just see a picture and before you know it, they have seen 5, 10 things to write about this singular picture. For me, it doesn't come that easy. But once, yes, I'm able to know what to write, then putting it down is not so much a problem.
All right. So when it comes to content writing, I like the examples that you gave, and skills to sharpen writing. You need to sharpen your writing skill. And like I always say, you've heard now there's a difference between offline writing and online writing. Some people write so well. Like in my last class, I had one of the classes last year. I had an associate professor in my class. So when I was asking him to rate his writing, he felt like, what are you saying? Like, but by the time and that's why I started putting the topic of differences between online writing and offline writing. I started putting it before this skills to sharpen, so that we both are on the same page when I'm asking you to rate your writing. You know the one I'm referring to. Because you know that ordinarily offline writing, some of us will kill it. When it comes to online writing, we still want to write the same way we do offline, and no one can connect with us. No one can engage with that. All right. So that's what I was referring to when I said that you read to writing. When it comes to structuring your tenses and your words to communicate to that person. Remember when we said the differences, that there is a reader's attention you're trying to get. So having that your reader in mind is also another difference. Apart from talking about focuses on the reader, if you notice that's what we said in differences, it focuses on the reader, not on you. So if online writing focuses on the reader, it means that you're thinking of the reader, how the reader thinks, what the reader calls what you're saying, not the words that you prefer to call it, but how that reader, what kind of person is this reader? You actually create what we call a persona of the person you're writing for. If you're baking a cake and you're putting it out and you're trying to build an audience around that business, you are thinking of that person. Who is the average person? So you're thinking of Mommy Zina, who lives in Port Harcourt and has all kinds of people that she needs to send cakes to every single month, because there's always someone doing birthday or one celebration around her. So she's got this cake she needs to send every single month. So you have Mommy Zina in mind. And who is Mommy Zina? Mommy Zina is a young professional. Yes, she has a family, but she's a young professional. See, I'm already drawing this person in your head. So what it means is that anytime you want to write content on any social media platform, you're thinking of Mommy Zina. Mommy Zina also works, so that means she doesn't have all the time to read all the shubri. So your stories are going to be connecting to her. So you start with telling her how you were driving past Rumokoro Junction, and then you saw this. If you start like that, all of a sudden she's able to connect with you, because that's also the kind of things she does. When she closes at work, she's starting to see maybe children on the streets and starting to see, those are the kind of things that she talks about. So I needed to just go in deep here, just so that you will have an idea. And with this, we get into proper the skills to sharpen. All right. So the first skill to sharpen is your writing skill. And the difference between this class and any class you've ever taken is that we don't just tell you what, we tell you how. I won't just tell you what, I tell you how. I've had people in this class come in and tell me, I rate myself 1 because I don't understand what I write, I think. But by the time we're done with sharpening the writing skill, which we're about to do right now, they're always very confident that they will never rate themselves 1 again, because now they know what to do, right?
Yeah.
So what is it about writing that scares the best of us? Some people, when they want to write, they stare at a blank sheet for days before finally the words start forming. So what is it about writing that makes that humbles the best of us? Excuse me. Okay, I ran through some of what I'm sharing now with Ekene yesterday, why people don't write. One of them was lack of discipline. I mentioned that some people just lack the discipline to sit down and write. And so the best way to conquer that one is to have a schedule, right? Have a schedule, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes every morning, afternoon, or evening. Just sit down at a particular time of every day, inculcate it into your habits, and sit down every time, whether it's just for 5 minutes, and pour your thoughts down. Some people tell you, I write 300 words every day. You can start with 100 words, you can start with 50 words, you can start with 20 words, but just that you put your thoughts down, form it as a habit to put your thoughts down every day. Schedule your writing, include it in your daily routine, right? I was telling her yesterday that for me, I have like this setup just very close to my bathroom, and I can even come out from the bathroom because when I write before I go into the bathroom, my line of thought starts flowing within that what I've written down. And so between coming out from the bathroom, I can come out like more than once just to write down what I've written down. And that's because I understand that ideas evaporate. They just like when you're trying to warm water and you leave it boiling there for too long, and you're seeing all that smoke coming out from the kettle. After a while, the water will start reducing because all of it is evaporating away. And that's how ideas come. So that's why what you talked about earlier, that sometimes you hear words and you love that the person used it in such a manner and you plan to use it the next time you're doing something related to that. And when it's time to write, you just cannot remember those words. To deal with
Yeah.
that, just start writing them down. You can have a note. I don't these days I don't even I don't have a particular place, and I don't have a particular note anymore. I have my two iPhones, their notes. So if I'm any of the phones I can pick up, I can start writing. If I'm driving, I can turn on my notes and send a WhatsApp to myself of what I just thought about. That's how crazy it can be sometimes, apart from the routine of. So whenever your ideas come, write it down. No matter where you are, okay. So whether you use a pen or not, just write down your thoughts. Send it as an email to yourself. Send it as an SMS to yourself. Whatever. But make sure you capture that idea, how it came, and write it down so that when it's time to write, because you put in a little thought into it, it's easier to flow. Another reason why people don't write is because they are afraid. They're afraid of what? Sometimes they're afraid of errors. They're afraid of people laughing at them. They're afraid of people finding out that their writing isn't so great as they thought, even though they're professors and all of the big names and doctors, right? So they kind of just completely shy away from writing. They delegate it. And even when they've delegated it, they don't even actually like what the person is doing, but they rather have the person doing it than face it. How do you deal with the fear of writing? Is by accepting that we all were once horrible writers. The best of us were not always the best. Okay? And we shouldn't really worry about whether it's right or not. When you want to write, get a book and start writing. Don't bother about editing it. Don't bother about whether the grammar is right or not at that level. I'm going to share with you tools that can help you while writing. I'll share that much later. Don't bother about it. Just bring your paper when it's in you're punching it on your system or your phone or notebook of your phone. Just start writing. Pour out what is in your head. Even when your notepads are punching the wrong the wrong letters, just go ahead and put it all out. That's the process of actually writing. And you put it all down. And when you're done putting it all down, the next thing that you do is you now allow yourself get to the editing phase. All right? Is that at that editing phase that you can now start checking, I'll get to that part, but that's really how writing works. And so you conquer the fear of writing by writing. That's the best way to start. It is to start. You start writing. And bear this in mind, that whether you're a good writer or not should be the least of your worries. Those fears are always just in our head, and our limitations are not real. The kind of how far your writing can take you and how far it's not taking you, those limitations are not real. I don't know if, okay, Mrs. Nkiri, Madam Nkiri just joined us, so I didn't actually introduce myself, but I allowed you to introduce yourself. So let me introduce myself. My name is Choma Izinwafo. I'm a news editor. I'm a journalist, actually. I'm a media professional, and I'm a journalist working as a news editor in a radio station, Nigeria Info FM in Port Harcourt. And I've done this for 10 years. Teaching others, I've done for about, I started teaching offline. Offline teaching was done randomly, but I started teaching officially, fully in 2019. And at first, it was purely media professionals I was teaching because a lot of them, especially those that go on air regularly, I produce programs. I also host a couple of programs on radio. And I noticed that the regular on-air personalities shy away from writing. So that was actually how I started teaching. I started with teaching media professionals. And then I started, I'm also a digital marketing consultant. What it means is I help businesses set up their website, grow traffic, generate people to be interested in their business, and just generate buzz around their business. And one of the websites I helped businesses to set up, I noticed that we were trying to get content writers to work on the website. And some people that we hired as content writers were asking some basic questions that I was very worried about. You said you're a content writer and you don't know how to generate ideas. You don't know how to come up with an outline. They didn't know a lot of things. And so he opened my eyes to the lacuna that we have
Yeah.
when it comes to
Mhm.
content writing. And some people were saying that they were content writers just because they do good essay writing or the normal article writing, that's the offline writing. And so they didn't know that there's a difference between offline writing and online writing, right? So I have to always usually, well, even when we don't do the interviews and bring them in, I have to always usually train those people for those businesses before they can start writing confidently for them. All right. And I work across niches. I haven't niched down yet, funny enough. I work across niches because of the nature of my work. I'm a journalist. And so I have a good hang on a lot across topics from real estate to fast food. I've managed for fast foods. I've managed for fashion, people that do fashion. And I can write across boards. Like
Yeah.
it's not everybody that can do that. But I think it's the journalism background that I have that makes that process really easy for me. All right. So now, why did I decide to do this? I decided to do this so that you understand that I'm not teaching what I have not practiced. I am teaching
Yeah.
what I have practiced every single time. Okay. And
Yeah.
I have seen that this is what works. Okay. When you want to write, just write. When you want to edit, just edit. And I'm going to talk about the editing part later. For the writing part, let's deal with it. When you want to write, just bring a sheet of paper and start punching. Don't wait. Don't let the emptiness of the sheet scare you. Just start writing. Whatever comes to your mind, we'll do editing later. That's how to conquer the fear of writing. Okay. And then some people, the reason they don't write is that they don't know what to write. I think you mentioned a bit of that before, when you don't
Yeah.
know what to write. One of the best ways to know what to write is to read. Feed your curiosity. Read. And after reading, give it time. On the internet, one of the many places that you can find, let's say you talked about baking. Um, we talked about baking, and then let me also make reference to Ekene, who is looking to also publish a book. One of the things that you can do to always know what to write is to start reading around what you plan to write about. Now, another thing again is that some people don't even know, just know they want to own a book. They want to write a book, and so they are not sure yet. I met with a client about this, I think, okay, to be 1 week tomorrow, but I met with a client. This man has done a lot of things with his life. Like, he's got certificates in virtually everything about health and safety. Okay.
Hmm.
He's done risk assessment, risk management, like he's loaded. And so he's also had experiences like back in school, he was a cultist, like a capo kind of thing. And then later he became born again. And then, you know, that experience is also there pending. So he was stuck between what kind of book should I write? And then he also has had a great marriage despite having a rough start. So he's always stuck between should I write books about marriage? Because I mean, I have a lot of things about marriage to share. Or should I write books about my experience as a young professional and as a student, my mistakes, so that these people can learn? Or should I rather write books about, my life and all the certificates I own? He's also a PhD student right now. And helping him figure out all of that, okay,
Wow.
was something that he really, really appreciated. That session for him was he left so happy. He's never had to, he realized that he never, some people just have a problem. It's called unconscious incompetence. you know.
Mhm.
So that's also what happens. So if any of us are at that level, the best thing to do is to just outline it, that the fact, acknowledge that you have all of a lot to write about, but just write it all out. And then based on your life goal, you can decide that you will do this one first. And then after this one, you do this one. After this one, you do this one. But like that, that's way, that way. Okay. And so it helps you decide that, okay, I'm going to write about motherhood first. I've had a very tough time trying to be a mother. And so let me write about my motherhood journey first. The first time I became a mother and all of that experience, just to help whoever is coming behind me to know what to expect. Because man, they didn't tell us this thing very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, and then you start reading, okay? You go to, there's so many platforms where you can find materials to read about motherhood. There are so many of them. I will just mention them as we go because I don't want to be saying I'll mention them later and then I forget. All right, one of such places is what we call pdfdrive.com. Has anyone used this platform before?
No, PDF what?
pdfdrive.com. Can you see my screen? I'm opening it right now.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, can I have you used it before?
no, I haven't.
Okay, so pdfdrive.com is a platform where you can find all kinds of books, from academic to biography to children to fiction to lifestyle to politics. Just type any book. You can find any book here. So I just talked about writing a book of motherhood, right? So I'm typing motherhood as a keyword and I pick enter. And once you click enter, all the books about motherhood shows up. The Joys of Motherhood by
Did you say
Buchi.
PDF Drive, like DRIVE?
I thought you can see my screen. Can you not see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I can't see.
Oh, okay.
I can't see the
PDF
site.
Drive. See the name. See it here. pdfdrive.com.
Okay.
Are you seeing it now?
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So see this novel by the popular Buchi Emecheta, The Joys of Motherhood, The Black Milk on Writing, Motherhood, and blah, blah, blah. See all the books about writing, and they are inexhaustible. Man, by the time you finish reading all of this, you will know, especially because you're not reading it to copy them. You're reading them to feed your mind so that you will know the lacuna that we have when it comes to writing about motherhood. Okay? You could find that, oh, people are writing about motherhood, but not in the experience of being a mother in a new radio station that is doing news every 30 minutes. Or more, that experience is different from any other mother's experience. Do you understand? So how are you able to do exclusive breastfeeding for a child when you're writing news every 30 minutes and you're not allowed to bring the child to work? Writing about that experience is something that feeds another kind of audience other than the one who is just at home and has her baby with her face to face. Yeah? So no matter what I read about in all of these places, I am very certain that this, what I just shared now, is not going to be here. And so it makes your work stand out. So PDF Drive isn't the only platform. We have Quora. Has anyone used Quora before?
No, I haven't.
Can I have you used Quora before? Is Akene still here?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, let me just assume that she's driving. She can hear me, but she can't respond. All right. So Quora is a platform, a place to share knowledge and better understand the world. That's a simple way that they've explained themselves. So it's a social media platform actually. But now here you ask questions and people answer. All right. So let me type motherhood and see the kind of question people have been asking about motherhood. So this one gives you an idea of the kind of things, like remember that online writing focuses on the reader. So when you come to Quora, you can find the kind of questions people are asking about motherhood. And so it helps you know what to answer in your own when you're writing your own. So you see this person, the birth of my daughter, that one. So she tells her story. I just picked only her own, so I can pick another one. So that's actually how Quora works, Quora.com. All right.
Okay.
So there are also other platforms. There's one we call Answer the Public. Just be writing them down. You can explore them on your own, right? Answer the Public is a platform where, just like I told you about questions that people are asking, right? So you can use Answer the Public to find questions that people are asking about the topic you want to write, so that you don't go writing about everything. So you can even, first of all, search here, all right? Okay. Before you now go to PDF Drive, to now know the type of motherhood book you should be searching for. So let me type here again and use motherhood again. So this is motherhood. So to show you all the questions people are asking about motherhood. It shows you in two forms. It shows it to you in a visual form, and then it shows it to you in a data form. So this is the visual form. You see that where are motherhood stores? Where is motherhood in the Bible? What motherhood means? What motherhood means to me? Mother's Day. Who Mother's Day date? Mother's
Okay.
milk. Who mother's child? Do you understand? Different questions around. If you're trying to create something, let's say motherhood website, by the time you finish answering all these questions, you will have 1,001 articles that people will always, when they search for any of these things, your article will pop up. And that's also a part of SEO. I'll talk about that later. Let me not bombard us, right? So it's either you see it in this way or you see it in data form, which is like this. Our motherhood
Okay.
and apple pie. Our mothers, a lot of their daughters, just different questions. And you can use them as your caption to start answering. Okay, you talked about cakes. So we can also use cakes. And you can see all the questions people ask around cakes. Then you can use any of it to start your writing by going to Quora as well and going to Hemingway and seeing what bakers, kind of books bakers have been writing. Okay, you can even write content writing for bakers or something, and then you see something pops up that you've never thought about. I have so that I've mentioned all of these things. I have not mentioned Google. It doesn't mean that Google isn't great. Google is still a great place. All right, it's still a great place for you to excuse me, for you to also do such research. I'll get to how the right way to use Google later. All right, so let's get back to our slide. And we're talking about writing. Is there anything that's changed about the way you feel about writing online with what we've shared so far? Any questions, comments, observations?
So far, I think I am fine.
All right. And once you can hear us or once you can respond, please do. Okay, so tips on improving your writing. Be a thinker. Question everything. Right? So while you are reading up all of those things, question it. Especially for a Janet that wants to start a book, question as you're doing those research. Start with being curious. There's a strong connection between curiosity, thinking, and writing, and then writing well. They are all linked together. And curiosity is very important because without curiosity, you can't be a good thinker. And if you don't think, ideas won't flow. Ideas still rule the world. So let's make an effort to understand and help others understand, because that's actually what curiosity does. You're asking, why do things happen like this? And then you start trying to write about it, and then in doing it, you think about your reader and help your reader to understand it. So that's why it's good to put your thought to paper. And putting your thought to paper is what improves your writing because you develop an objective. So the next tip for improving your writing is to read. I talked about that already. The next one is to write. I talked about that already. The next one is to use online resources. Okay, this also helps you take care of the fear of writing. Some people are afraid of writing because they're afraid of the grammar. But it's good you don't have you talked about how your grammar is great. But then we have tools like Grammarly. Have you heard of Grammarly before?
No.
Okay, Grammarly um, is a writing tool that you can embed on your phone or on your system, and then it helps you to be correcting, just like a bit of what MS Word does, but this is even much better. It helps you correct your work as you're writing. So let's say, remember I told you that when you want to write, don't try correcting anything first. Just write, right? So when you're doing all those writing and maybe using adverbs and using all of those things, and you embedded and you're using Grammarly. Let's say you attach Grammarly to your system or to your keyboard. There are so many ways you can use it, okay? It will start showing you, it will start underlining it, suggesting better ways that you can write that sentence. That's Grammarly. So using this.
Okay, so you can have it installed on your phone.
Yes. So you have Grammarly for mobile, Grammarly for desktop, Grammarly for MS Word.
So you can get that from Play Store or something.
Yes. You can.
Okay.
Right. So it's something you can even download tonight and have it. Another great one is called Hemingway. Okay, this is one of my articles. I wanted to just start editing before our class started. So I'm going to, let me do Control Z so that, okay, let me go ahead and actually use it. All right. This is an article that hasn't been edited.
Okay.
I haven't edited this article. I was just about to start editing it. Okay. So this is called Hemingway. HemingwayApp.com is also a great place that whenever you're done, you said you needed this class because you want to use it for your report writing in the office. Hemingway
Yes.
is a great place for you to edit your work. So this brings me to editing, but I'm mentioning it under writing. Just
I'm sorry.
go on.
Please, will the video for this class be available after the class?
It's usually not available.
Wow.
Where did you stop?
Well, I stopped. I told you I was driving, so I still
yes, I know.
stop.
So where did you
I
stop?
lost at some point.
Yes, I know. Where did you stop?
Well, I heard when you mentioned the app after the PDF dots, the PDF dot
Drive.com.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you are not so far away from where we are. So that's when we mentioned the resources. We talked about Quora. You know Quora?
Quora.com.
No, I don't.
Okay. Quora is a platform where people ask questions and you see people ask questions and people give them answers. Okay.
Sorry, Cora is Kora.
Okay. You're not seeing the screen. You're not seeing it.
Yeah, you know I'm driving, so I'm not
Oh, you're
really.
still driving.
Yes.
Okay.
The-
So
that is-
Quora.com. Quora.
okay, cool. Yes, I heard of it, but I've never used it.
Okay, it's a great place for you to find it as a resource. Like it can be a good resource for you, especially because
Okay.
you want to write your book. All right. So one of
Yeah.
the things you start answering is who you're writing for. And who you're writing for, when you're able to identify it, Quora can help you see the kind of questions the person you're writing for usually will ask about the topic you want to write about. Right?
Okay.
All right. So that's it about Quora. And then I talked about Answer the Public as well. But don't worry, I'm going to mention Answer the Public again in the later part of this class. All right. So I can also show you again how that works. But I was talking about Grammarly. Do you know Grammarly?
No, I don't.
All right.
Well, I have to. I'm still driving, and I have to continue. But I just needed to park to notify you that I wasn't following. That was why I was asking for the video, so I can continue my driving and then probably listen up when I get home.
We usually don't give out the video. It's against the policy for us to give out.
Oh, okay. So what do, because you had already told me that the class was for 4, and that was the time I had worked out on. But when I got your message that it was 8, I had to try and do something else
Don't worry. Just as I was
before
able
the
to
time,
do
so
a
I wouldn't
recap.
have to waste the
Don't
whole
worry.
day.
Don't worry. Just as I was able to do a recap.
That's
for,
why I had to park. I'm parked in the middle of the road just to find out, because I don't want to lose concentration.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. To be sorted out. Okay. To be sorted
Hello,
out.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. To be sorted out.
I think I lost you. Hello?
Yes. I'm going to type for you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. She said you shouldn't worry. She's going to sort you out.
Can you see what what I just sent you as a text? I was trying to type fonts. Okay, so she's on transit, I understand, and the network can be messy. I tried myself. Okay, she saw it. All right. All right. Okay, so we can just proceed. And but I hope she can still hear though, so that
I hope so.
the material is something that will still, the resources are usually made available after the class, but not the video.
Okay.
All right, so Grammarly is, I've told you how to use Grammarly, and then I was talking about Hemingway. The Hemingway is a great place that you can come and just drop the report you have written, all right? And then you can edit it. It shows you the readability, how readable. Because online writing, you should write like, I don't know if I mentioned it when I was talking about it in the introductory part. You're supposed to write like you're writing for someone in primary school. Now, this doesn't mean that you use terrible English or colloquial English or sound or not, how do I put it? It just means that you don't use high sounding words. You don't use words that people will have to pause, go and look for dictionary to understand what you're saying before they now continue to get what, like what we used to do those days while we were reading all those Woloshoyinka novels and all those people. Not, you can't write like that for online. Okay. So Hemingway allows you to check the readability level of what you are writing. So currently, this unedited work, the grade readability is grade 7. That's a grading, and it says it's good.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So 7 out of 10.
Yeah, grade 7, grade 8 is good. Anything higher is not advisable. Between grade 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 8 is good. It will always tell you. Sometimes it will tell you when you're at grade 9, it will advise you to aim for a particular grade. It will show you here. Are you seeing my cursor?
Yes.
It will show you here. And then one of the ways it guides you to make your work better is to show you, like you're seeing the colors. You have like 15 adverbs. It's telling you to reduce the adverbs to at least 5 or less. Okay, so everything marked in blue are adverbs. So it will tell me to remove the adverbs. And when I click, the adverbs go away. But you have to read it to make sure that it still makes sense. And so sometimes you have to read your word again and see how you can rephrase that sentence to do without those adverbs. Now, we also have the one that says that I have three uses of passive voice. Okay? 3 uses of passive voice. And it will advise me to aim for active voice. All right? Aim for active voice so that that's what kind of catches attention, not passive voice. So all the ones in green are in passive voice. So I find them like this one now. See, it's telling me to use an active voice. So that means I have to rephrase this entire sentence so that I can use an active voice. So the next one is phrases have simpler alternatives. It's telling me that the ones in purple, this of using,
Sorry,
however.
Understand. What do you mean by active voice?
Okay, I was waiting for you to ask me that. All right, when you say Choma just spoke to Ekene. Yeah? Choma just spoke to Ekene. That is an active voice. Ekene was spoken to by Choma. That is a passive voice. It's not active.
Okay.
Do you understand now? Choma just spoke to Ekene. It's active. Ekene was spoken to by Choma. That is passive. Do you see the difference?
Okay.
So that's just it. So it's always better for online writing that you do active voice and not a passive voice. So in trying to now see another thing again, the ones in this color telling me that 18 of my 59 sentences, I have 59 sentences here, and 18 of them I have to read. So I have to rephrase these ones in this yellow color so that they will no longer be hard to read. All of my sentences in yellow are hard to read. That's what it's telling me. Then the ones in red are very hard to read. And that's not good for me. So what do? I need to rephrase them. How do I rephrase them? I need to paraphrase them. How do I paraphrase them? I have what we call a paraphrasing tool called, one of such paraphrasing tools are called qbot.com.
What?
Qbot. Can you see it? See it here.
Sorry, I'm trying.
Quillbot.
Okay.
It is a paraphrasing tool. There are so many paraphrasing tools, but this is the most popular of them all. Okay. So with this, you can, let me go to the one that, let's start with the red one. I like to always start with the red before I go through all the colors. Okay, so let's use, yes. So let's use the red one. This red, let me first of all read it and understand it so that it will not paraphrase out of context now. No. Through the course, you'll be able to learn a ton of different techniques that you can use to create better content for your business or for your blog posts, as well as how to edit your work to make it stronger and more effective, just like what I'm teaching you now. All right. So, so the paraphrasing tool is here. I paste that. You know, the number one reason why this particular one was said to be hard, very hard to read, is connected to what I told you about the difference between online writing and offline writing. That you do what? Short paragraphs. You don't do long paragraphs. All right? Few sentences. You don't do once it's bulky like this, it's very hard to read. And that's why. So let's paraphrase it. I'm paraphrasing now. You saw where I clicked, right?
Yes, paraphrase. Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so throughout the course, you will learn a variety of techniques. So you see that each of them become clickable. I can click it to change this variety to anything I like. I can change it to range of techniques or number of techniques. You're seeing that?
Okay.
Number of tactics. I can change it to anything I want. I can change business to enterprise, to firm, to profit. I can change any of these things and paraphrase them and have a completely different sentence. Okay, I can use various methods, right?
So this one, is it also downloadable, or you just go online and do that?
Yes, it's downloadable. I have it on my phone. I also have it, like you can add it to, you can add it, there's something they call Chrome extensions. Are you familiar with Chrome extensions?
No.
Okay, Chrome extensions are things that you can add. If you come here, I have something here, people suggest. And okay, this laptop wasn't always my regular laptop. I just moved to this laptop, I think this month or so. But my old laptop, I always had this keyboards, Grammarly, and you know that they always have their free version and paid version. Yeah,
Okay.
like this one has, I can upgrade to premium. Same thing with Grammarly. Okay, I think Hemingway is free. There's no paid version of it.
Okay.
There's no paid version of it.
These are eye openers.
Sorry?
I say these are all eye openers.
Yes, yes. All right. So that's so you can click on, if I add to Chrome now, it means that it will embed it to my system. So when I'm working on anything, it's oh, it's saying not compatible. It's saying not compatible. This particular one is not compatible, but you can have it open. See how I have it? I have it open on the browser, one of the tabs of my phone, on my browser of my phone opened. So if I need to paraphrase anything, I just drop it there, paraphrase and move on. Whether it's for my social media or I'm doing some professional work. Then if I'm doing professional work that I was paid a lot of money, I can upgrade to premium and then do, because if you come here, you see that they have standard, they have fluency, then they have formal. To paraphrase it for research papers, essay, professional presentation, cover letters, technical. I sing that, but it's under the paid version. Then we have the simple, okay? And then we also have maybe people that are writing books. For someone like a Kenneth that wants to write books, you can use this to paraphrase for your different book writing and all of that, okay? Then you can have it to expand, you can have to shorten, you want to shorten, you know, it can help you shorten. So example, instead of saying people around the world observe the Christmas holiday, it can paraphrase to be Christmas is celebrated everywhere.
Everywhere.
You see that? Okay, so that's really how it works. But these are all paid for. These are for the paid version. So we free version is only standard and fluency. Okay. So fluency ensures the text is readable and free of errors, and standard rewrites text in a reliable manner to maintain meaning. Okay. So you can move from standard paraphrasing to fluency paraphrasing. Okay. So you see that when I moved it to standard, the words were more. When I moved it to fluency, they reduced. Did you see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now let me tell you something. Sometimes you can lift this, go back to Hemingway, and it will still be read. And that's where the skill of editing comes in, which is the next thing I'm about to show you. You see that I still read.
Okay.
You know, I already knew it was going to be read before I told you. Because there are
Okay.
other aspects of editing that we haven't done, apart from paraphrasing. Yeah. So remember, we're talking about writing. Before I needed to show you that these are the tools that we use for writing. Okay. So now let's go back to, let me show you the most popular one I use for my work that I've done is a technique by, so apart from, now we're done with writing. So when it comes to editing, which is the next skill that you need to sharpen, going back to our slides now. All right, we're through with writing, okay?
Right.
Yeah, so the next skill is editing. And this this technique for editing was done by someone I respect so much. I respect his work so much. In fact, I learned from him, Shani Raja. He's a former editor for the Wall Street Journal. And this concept is his. So I'm about to teach you his concept that he's taught over the years. All right.
Yeah.
So, and see what he said that is the best way for you to edit your work. All right. So let's still use this particular article for it. And so the first thing, of course, generally there are three phases of writing: the pre-writing stage, the writing proper, and the post-writing stage, isn't it? So the pre-writing
Okay.
stage is usually where you know, do your research and find your schedule, find your routine and all of that. Then the writing proper is where I talked about, you know, actually doing your writing. So when you're done writing, the next stage is for you to edit. And when you're editing, you edit without mercy. And so that first stage, there are 4 layers, he says. Shani Raja says there are 4 layers in every write-up. Every write-up has 4 layers. The first one is the narrative. Okay. The second one is paragraph. The next one is sentence. And the next one is words. Okay. So word, W-O-R-D, word. Okay. So every write-up has these 4 layers. So just think of it like when you look at something, you zoom out, right? And then gradually you zoom in, then you see the paragraph, you zoom in again to sentence. Sentences make up paragraphs, right?
Yes.
And then you zoom in again, words make up sentences, right?
Yeah.
That's how editing is done. So the first level of the first layer is your narrative. Narrative has to do with what that write-up is about. That's actually where you start your editing. A narrative can be a spoken or a written account of connected events, a story. Okay, in this our class, we're referring to a written content, like this one in front of us, this article. So the first thing if I want to edit this work is to read the entire work, first of all. When I'm reading it, I'm not reading it for grammar. I'm not reading to correct the is or the was. I'm reading it to understand the narrative. What are they writing about? What exactly is this person trying to tell me? What story is this? What is the narrative? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the report of the connected events? What's the imagery? What's the sequence of this book, of of content? What's the sequence? Okay. So at this level, you're editing for order. Before a child walks, a child will crawl, right? Before a child will walk, a child will stand. After a child finishes standing, the child will, okay, sorry, I'm going the other way. Before a child even starts crawling, the child will first of all lie flat. A child will now crawl. After crawling, they will now start standing before they will now start walking, before running will happen, right?
Yeah.
There's a sequence to it. That's the same thing too for your narrative level. So editing at the narrative level, when you're done reading the entire work, that's the first thing, right? The next thing is for you to check whether it is in order.
Yeah.
Has the child crawled before the child walked?
What?
Stand. After the child finishes standing, the child will now walk. So you check that order. Because some people, their brain is just racing the ideas and they're just like, instead of saying that somebody entered the room, they will not say somebody left the room. So when you hear that enter, do you understand? So at that stage of narrative, you're checking to be sure that it is logically sequenced, that the story follows a particular sequence. So try not to edit while working on the narrative. I've said that before already. So resist the temptation. Just focus on putting and laying straight the entire narrative. Spend the majority of your writing hour on the task at hand. Don't get too sidetracked editing during this time. I've said that already. So just critique your narrative at this layer. Look at it. Does this make sense to the person you're writing it for? Focus on the reader again. This mother that you're writing about for motherhood. Will this make sense to this person? Okay? Will this make sense? Will it catch their attention? Remember, it's a battle for attention on the internet. Will it catch their attention? This narrative, right? So, apart from asking whether it makes sense, does it flow? These are the questions you ask. Does it flow? Is this idea flowing? Are your characters engaging? What are the characters of this content I'm writing? Are they engaging? And then in your narrative, get to the point very quickly. Don't tell us how the wind was blowing and then the fan was now shaking the curtain. And don't get to the point very quickly at the narrative stage. Don't go to descriptive. Use few words, just like the example I just showed you under the paraphrasing tool. They just went through and told you Christmas is celebrated everywhere. Instead of people around the world celebrate Christmas. Okay? So that's the idea of narrative. You get to the point very quickly because your battling is a battle for people's attention. All right? So connect with your audience, organize your writing, and aim for beauty while you're aiming for comprehension. Aim for beauty while you're aiming for comprehension. Right?
Yes.
You're aiming to connect with that person. So you use the words of their, I'll talk about word level later. So start your piece with a bang, end with a flourish, and embed it with powerful imagery. Use our mind. Let us imagine what you're writing about. And when you get the structure right at this first layer, it makes it easier in the coming layer, which is a paragraph. So getting the structure right at this first layer is important, very important. Do you agree?
Yes.
So the next level is paragraph level. This level is also very important because this is the part that I mentioned a bit of it in the introduction part, where the written down words, we're checking the sentences, okay? It's not easy to find a good content writing course, right? You shift. No, look at what I'm editing. You shift. You space out. You don't mop it all together. You let people get out of the paragraph very quickly.
Okay.
So paragraphs are important. And most people will ask you, why should I bother to break my points into paragraphs? 1 point per paragraph, that's online writing. 1 point per paragraph, 1 point per paragraph. And that's why sometimes you see that even non-sentences are left on their own. What are non-sentences? To understand what non-sentences are, we start with what sentences are. What are sentences? What is a sentence?
It's a group of words that is complete in itself, conveying a particular message or a meaning of a thing.
Most importantly, it has a verb and a subject.
Okay.
Most importantly, it has a verb and a subject. So that's like the major difference between a non-sentence and a sentence. Sentences have a verb and a subject, but non-sentences do not. And content writing or online writing uses a lot of non-sentences because most times the people you're communicating with, you're trying to communicate to them in the language that they understand. And some of them, the words that you're not trying to sound so high sounding. So it means that you're going to be embedding a lot of non-sentences, right? And okay, so that's why you identify at that level as well, right? So the paragraph is a unit of attention. When you see your paragraph as a unit of attention, it changes the way you write it. You use it creatively. Use it creatively. So you see that it may look as if I'm breaking at the end of every sentence, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm breaking at the end of every thought, every line of thought.
Okay.
So if it's only one sentence that communicated that line of thought, and the next line of thought is different from that first line of thought, it will stand on its own.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
That's how to edit at the paragraph level. So pay attention to your paragraphs. They can determine whether your readers will continue or not. So to know when to create your paragraph sheets, focus on what? Comprehension and beauty. Optimize comprehension, optimize beauty. Would they comprehend this thing I'm writing? And then the way I'm weaving this thing, is it beautiful? You know, there are some people that when I'm reading their words, I stop sometimes and say, I like the way this person just wrote, this is what I was talking about. Like, you want to continue reading because it's beautiful the way they are weaving the sentence, the paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another trick again is to sound like you're doing a rhythm, not rhyme. I'll talk about that later. Okay. But the bottom line for paragraphs is that don't allow people get lost in your paragraphs. Avoid long paragraphs. They are bad starters for online writing. Do short paragraphs. Don't do thick paragraphs. Like that one that is in red. The reason is in red because it's a thick paragraph. This is a thick paragraph. All the things that are here can be shorter, and you will see me do it at the later part of this class. I will edit it.
But without using any app on your own, if you could break this one highlighted in red, if you could break it into two,
yes,
I think
exactly.
exactly.
That's exactly what I was going to do. That's exactly what I was going to do. But I want us to get there. We'll get there. Okay. So that's exactly how it works. All right. So instead of making them thick, you lighten them up by breaking them out. All right. So with what I've talked about now, the next time you're reading a new person's work, when you're reading a paragraph, start noticing how the mind wants to get done with it quickly. And move to the next paragraph. And then just notice how people do their paragraph. The best of us, the not so best. Just notice how see that the paragraph is actually a tool. Like they say, unit of attention. So you don't use it anyhow, you use it deliberately. This brings me to the next layer. The next layer is the sentence. Zooming into the sentence level, recognize what a non-sentence is. I already told you what it is. Okay, sentences that are not written as it should be. At the sentence level, you check out the grammar. You already know your grammar rules, so you apply them at the sentence level of the writer. Be disciplined at the sentence level to use the right punctuation marks. Where you're writing a quote, use the quotation marks. Where the words should be in capital letter, the first letter of the word should be in capital letter, use appropriately. Some people do not observe this rule because they think the social media now was wrong. Even for social media, you put off some people when you do not apply the grammar rule. They get put off, especially when they are the target audience. They will not read it because they will think you're not a professional, or they will not trust you. And it's also a game of trust. We're writing to engage and connect and build a community that will end up becoming clients. And so you need them to also know that you know your onions. And so no matter how in a hurry you are, when you're writing Chidinma, C should be in capital letter.
Yeah.
Chidinma is in Aba. IN should be in small letter. Aba, A is a noun. So A should be in capital letter. BA should be in small letter. You know, those simple grammar rules that some people ignore. Right? So at the sentence level as well, is also what we do, sharpen your sentence. What does it mean to sharpen your sentence? You make it a bit more immediate. You bring out your thoughts in your sentence. A good example again, I go back to that paraphrasing thing I showed you, where they said people around the world celebrate Christmas. And they said everyone celebrates Christmas. How did they put it again? Christmas is celebrated everywhere. Just in less than how many sentences? So that's a good way to sharpen. That sentence was sharpened, right? Because you bring out the thoughts. The thoughts were brought out more quickly. It's also important to give your sentences rhythm. create rhythm, not rhyme. Rhythm. You create rhythm. All right? How do you do that? When you're saying, let me see what I can use as an example. You create rhythm. It's not easy to find a good content writing course, right?
Yeah.
That's a listening. Yeah? In such an oversaturated market, you need to be choosy about the resources that you invest in. So let's say that I want to create rhythm. I can start the first of this sentence with something connected to this right. Not rhyming, but right. So it's not easy to find a good content writing course, right? But the right way, to thrive in a saturated market is to invest in the right resources. I'm just using this as an example. All right?
Yeah.
Trying to, it's like a way of weaving. It's like when they are weaving, when you're taking one hair into the other, one hair into the other. So you use the line of thought and drawing that person to the next line. You're using the word, maybe in another context, because it's another thought you're trying to introduce, but you're not letting the person go away from the last thought you made. You're still weaving that thought into what you have already written, into the next thing that you're writing. You follow? Do you follow?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. All right. So that's really how to sharpen and play around with your sentence construction to bring out about the reading. And that's what the editing level is about. All right. You read a sentence.
But I'm still not clear. This rhythm and rhyme. I'm still not clear.
Yes. Rhyming
trying...
is when, like poems.
Yeah.
Let me see now. No, rhyming is different. Rhyming is when you are
like the alliteration they do in poems.
good.
Is it the alliteration?
Yes. But rhythm is that you are able to drag the reader along by using the words in the last thought in your next thought. The thoughts are not the same. They are two different paragraphs, but you're drawing the words from that last thought into this thought that you're about to introduce, just so that you keep the person remembering what you said before. So that's why I try to use this one, but it's not a typical example. It's not easy to find a good content writing course, right? But the right way to thrive in an oversaturated market is to invest in a good resource. So I'm trying to use rights to create reading for this line of thought. Because this first line of thought is that more is not easy. Second line of thought is that.
Oh, I lost you at some point.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I think a call came in. Okay, that's fine. Sorry about that. All right, so I said that a typical example of a reading, one of the ways to create reading is to try to use the most important word in the line of thought you've already established to weave it into the next line of thought you have not established. It's not easy to find a good content writing course, right? So let me use easy, not right. So easy is a key word in that sentence.
Okay.
So I can say, well, it is easier to invest your resources. You understand? It is easier to choose the right resources to invest in such an oversaturated market. I have not rhymed, rather I have created reading.
Okay. I think it's clearer now.
All right. So reading is good, rhyme is discouraged, but reading is good. It helps sharpen your sentence, right? So the next thing you do to your sentence, you tighten your sentence. How do you tighten your sentence? When you look at your
Tighten.
sentence, yes, you tighten your sentence. Apart from sharpening it, this is what I've talked about. You tighten your sentence. How do you tighten your sentence? You tighten your sentence by looking at it and taking away words that you can do without. All right? So you read it. Are there words that I can do? Just let me go back to that Christmas poem. People around the world celebrate Christmas. Are there really words in that sentence I can do without? Yes, there are. Can I say the same thing in lesser words? Yes, I can. And yes, when you go ahead and do that, what you have done is that you have tightened that sentence. Okay, by taking
Okay, for
away those
instance,
words.
like maybe I hear people say, "Thank you so very much."
Mhm. So you
You
can
can actually
say
do it with
many
so.
thanks.
Or you can say thank you very much without, so very. I see
Mm.
you trying to stretch the extent of thanks.
Or you say many thanks. And even if you say many, many thanks, it's still three words. Instead of saying thank you so very much, which is like how many words? So yes. Hello, ma.
Hello.
Yes, thank you so much for waiting. I am so sorry. I had a
No problem.
call, and if I didn't respond, they would have just kept calling.
Okay.
Yes, sorry
No
about
problem.
that. I'm
No
working on
problem.
getting a modem so that I don't get interrupted in this meeting. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so we talked about tightening your sentence. So that's it for the sentence level. That's really, so that's just about it for the sentence level. The next level is the words level, is the last layer. And it's just the simple way. This here, we're trying to take away what carries dead weight. So at this level, you weigh every word in those sentences. If they are dead, they carry dead weight to take them out. All right.
Okay.
So at this point, you're checking to avoid complex words. Sorry, complex words are words that you have to go and look for dictionary to understand the word. Why say eliminate when you can say take away? All right. If people are going to understand take away faster than eliminate, then use take away. All right. And then use relatable words. Okay. So a good example again, relatable. When you say relatable, you should at this level, we're looking at wrong and right. We're looking for a certain way, a certain kind of words. So depending on the person that your write-up is for, your reader again, all of your decision is about your reader. So if your reader is someone that best understands um, let me use content writing and online writing. There's a kind of person I'm talking to. I'll keep saying content writing because that's what is relatable to them. But there are some other kind of, because I teach business owners, journalists, I teach undergraduates as well. I think young professionals. When I'm teaching, like say undergraduates, they understand content writing, like content, they are everything about them. They are moving content. Most of them are content creators and they just move their phones, they create all kinds of content, TikTok videos and all of that. So using that word is more relatable to them than people in the academic world who do a lot of academic research, people that are not, not social media savvy yet, right? When I'm relating with them, I use online writing. I'm talking about the same thing, but it's more relatable for them when I say online writing than when I say content writing. It just sounds somehow, right? So that's the same way you go through the write-up and look for and replace words and use the ones that are more relatable and choose precise words. Okay, don't run around. I have this content writer that likes to just run around stories and use a lot of metaphor. You say, then we cannot carpet. They like using such words. We cannot carpet. Don't just go straight and tell me something like this. Use precise words. No, we will not carpet this issue. No need of talking like that. Just go straight and use precise words that these words won't be overlooked. The word there is overlooked, right? So don't talk about carpeting anything, just so wordy using that. So use precise words, avoid abstract words as well, and find colorful words. Okay? Abstract words, how do I explain that now? Abstract words are words that just, I think it's even related to this thing I just talked about now, talking about carpeting something. It's so abstract of some sort, okay? So it's better you just say overlook. It's more colorful when you put it in a sentence than carpeting something, okay? So avoid pointless distinctions, make useful ones, okay? Other words elegantly, it comes back to that when I talk about beauty and comprehension. Other words elegantly. Exploit words, word sounds, okay? Words that sound better. When they sound better, use them. And stay away from the ones that sound giddy giddy bam bam kind of, way. And because you're still trying to keep the reader's attention. So slice syllables and boost your vocabulary. So these are the tips and techniques that with practice, it will boost your writing skill and it will boost your editing skill. And once this is taken care of, because this class ends by 10, once these two are taken care of, it pretty much most times takes care of the rest of it, which is the other skills like research skills, originality, search engine optimization. I run them over easily because these are like the basic. But let me stay with research skill for a moment and ask you, what's your most popular place to go when you want to do your research?
It's basically Google.
Okay, how do you use Google?
I search, of course, if there are the keyword in what you want to search, fine. Then I also use it to, like talking about relatable words, of course, synonyms that would sound simpler, maybe to words you want to replace in sentences.
Right?
Then you find keywords and then search, and then you read some of the, what is it called? The pages it will pop up. Open them and read them. Make your comparison. Pick from here, and then you're able to make a thing for yourself that is original to you. But
All right.
basically, I like to use it when I am in need of a particular word that I am not sure what better word would fit in. So going for synonyms of
Okay.
words when I write. I do that a lot using Google.
Okay. So now let's look at this. It's good to start with a Google research, a Google search when you want to do your research. Whether you want to research for your audience, to know the type of audience you want to write for, or you want to research for a particular topic, starting with the Google search is a good place. But there's a better way to use Google. Let's look at that.
Okay.
When you are, I see my screen. Okay, so there's a better way to use Google. Let's use give me a topic, man.
Must it be on must it have to do with English? Okay, voting.
Okay, all right. So instead of just normally when you want to just Google something on voting, you're going to do like this, right? Then you click, right?
Yes.
And then Wikipedia comes out. It's always the first to pop out. What do you think about Wikipedia? Do you think it's
It just gives a general thought about something.
or do you think it's you see it as a good source of this thing, information?
Yes, of course. I read that first before I take some others. To have a general view. For me, it's more, it generalizes, searches more better than
All right.
other.
Okay, so in this class is where you're going to learn that Wikipedia is not a good place for you to find, it's not a reliable source of information.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why I said it's a general, just
Mm.
use a general.
So instead, see how to use them. So let me start with showing you the one I was showing you, which is voting. So let's say voting now. Here is a better way to do your research. When you say voting, add, add, you know, look up more specific information, like on statistics, for instance, right? Voting statistics. You have deeper risk this thing, information than when you do that only voting. Are
Yes,
you
yes,
seeing data? Then,
yes.
and then another way again is for you to use things like this. You see that it gives you something entirely different from all of the last two things we have searched now.
Yes.
When I click through, you see that it gives me something entirely different. Another thing again is that you can do, this one is PDF. It gives you something that you can cite. This one can take you to more reliable, because most of them are in PDF. It means that most of them are like research papers,
What?
or something
Yes.
that you can easily authoritatively cite in your topic, right? So Google can direct you past all the fluff to more hard numbers, something you can quote, and it makes your report rich. Especially when your report, you have to also do like a presentation. By the time you do it like this, it makes it rich. And that's actually what you're aiming for. Remember, for online
Yeah.
writing, it's a battle for attention, right?
Yes.
And so when you're able to give people questions that are not easily on Google, like when they want to search, the way I'm searching, you're only knowing this because you're in class. It's not the average person's way of doing Google search. Okay? So the time you do it like that is a deeper way of doing your research. And it's actually a research skill. Not everybody has that skill. Now, here is also the same way I'm going to tell you about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a reliable source, and we are usually advised not to use it as our ideal source, because when it comes to search, when you're doing your research, they have quality sources and then they have the fluff. Okay, they all of them follow. They are giving you the same. They're all giving you answers. But you're aiming for you stick with quality sources. Okay,
Yes.
you stick with the quality sources. And so one of the ways to get quality out of Wikipedia is by opening it. So let's open Wikipedia. And then you're going to see that they cited people in the reason why Wikipedia is not a quality source is because it can be edited. Their work, nobody knows this thing is not reliable. You understand? People,
Yeah.
it's based on other people's interest, not based on what fact.
General
It's not
knowledge.
factual. But here's a good way to use them. So you scroll at the tail end of every Wikipedia, you're going to find references. Under those references, you're going to find the quality sources. Like this one, which is from gov.uk, is a quality, reliable source. It's an ideal source. And this one as well, books and resources. So the right way to use Google, excuse me, and then you also find external links. So the right way to use Google is to type that topic, Wikipedia, is to type that topic that you have in mind, and then you scroll down to the references and all these parts, and then you click on the, see, these are research papers. So it's from Cambridge University Press. It's encyclopedia. And this is from, you see, all of these are all quality, they are usually all quality sources. This is from a book, this is a book, and it's archived from the original. You see that? When I click on it, it takes me to where I can find the book itself. And then you can open the book yourself and read more on it and cite from here if you want to cite any book or make reference to any book. So you don't make reference to Wikipedia, you make reference to this particular predicting elections from biographic information about candidates, written by J. Scott Armstrong, the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania, and it suddenly enriches your work. Okay? That's how to use Wikipedia. That's how to use Google to do your research. And these are all research skills. They're not everyday knowledge. All right?
Thank you.
So research is important. It will always be important because that's what differentiates between solid information. Let's say your Instagram page, for instance. When you do such research before you post, people, before you know it, people can start, especially when you post at a particular time, maybe you post every 9 o'clock. Before you know it, you start drawing a certain kind of people to start relying on you, for certain information because they see that you give them rich knowledge, rich information, something that that is not surface. You give them depth, and people are looking for depth, right? And then it's also important that you verify the information you're researching about. Multiple sources of income is usually the standard, sources of information is usually the standard, right? That you find it on this website. See if someone else also says, even if it's not exact same thing, but something similar. It means that you can go ahead and cite it. That is verifiable. Okay? So that's it really about research skills. We'll end in 10 minutes. Originality, with what I've talked about now, do you see the skill of originality flowing out with what I've talked about for the first 3 skills that we've sharpened?
Yes, sure.
You see that by the time you do it this way that we talked about, you will always come out with original content.
It's something that is you, exactly.
You will always come out, especially when you take it to that paraphrasing tool and change the words and rephrase it to suit that particular audience you're writing it for. By the time you're done, it's free of plagiarism.
Exactly.
It's original. Okay? And that is a skill you can add to a CV and say, I do only original content. And that is something that can set you apart. Like in the kind of work that I do, it's become saturated. But the saturation doesn't scare me. I'm not afraid of saturation because I know that not everybody knows how to do original work. Some people are used to copy and paste. But exactly. I know how to work on a story until it becomes original. I know how to keep tumbling it like baking. You keep kneading until all the ingredients become one. And once it becomes one, it becomes one of a kind. And nothing of its nature has ever existed. So that's it about that skill is important for content writing. The next one is search engine optimization. This is a separate, it's a separate session. We're going to take that tomorrow, but it's also important because you're not planning to get into this. But let me also say that people that go through this class most of them always end up having to start making money with content writing because you realize that it's not everyday knowledge and and is in demand. A lot of people end up writing for others because people have this fear of writing. It's really crazy. It's really, really crazy. Okay. So because you know this, that's why I put it in this class so that even if you're just trying to write a book, knowing how search engine optimization works can even help that your book sell when you finally publish it. Okay? So the next skill is time management. For content writing, managing your time is important. Meeting deadlines, some people struggle with time a lot, especially those who do more than one thing, who have what we call multi-hyphenated careers. They are not just civil servants. They also run a business. They're not just running a business. They are the leader in their church, the women group in their church, and so they are saddled with the responsibility of perhaps writing the announcement in church or one, we are just everywhere and meeting up with some of our writings can be challenging. But there are so many time management techniques. And one of the most popular ones I will share here is the one we call Pomodoro. The Pomodoro technique was invented by a journalist like me. She's a senior colleague abroad. And this technique has to do with um, um, going in and doing deep work every 15 minutes and taking a break every 5 minutes. I'm sorry. You do
Going
when you
and
want to,
doing what?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
When you want to do a work, okay, you use this the time management technique to do just knock off all distractions and focus on that thing you want to write for 15 minutes. After 15
Okay.
minutes, reward yourself with a 5 minutes break. During that 5 minutes break, you can punch your phone, you can check Instagram, you can check Facebook, you can call your friend, you can gist. Once 5 minutes is over, you go back again and do 15 minutes deep work. Reward yourself again after that 15 minutes by taking another 5 minutes break. Okay? You can start with 15 minutes, but me, I do 1 hour, I do 2 hours, then I can take like 10 minutes break and go do some other fun thing, and then come back again, do 1 hour, do 2 hours. Like that, you will always be productive and you will always meet your deadline. All right? Unless
Yeah.
unless there are factors you cannot control. There are other techniques, and that's why I part of the resources I'll be sharing is that I'll be sharing 2 books on time management. Most people that attend my class tell me that they really have time management problems, they procrastinate a lot, and that's why they've not been able to write. And so I add that to the resources I share. The 2 books on time management. And then I have a handbook that I put together in 2019 on how to improve your writing skill. It's also part of the resources I share at the end of this class, apart from this slide. So I'll be sharing all of that when I'm sharing at the end of this class. I'm sharing all of that. Okay. So the next one is knowledge of social media. This is a skill, and this skill is so important. And we have about 5 or 6 minutes to talk to you about this skill. And most initially we thought that social media was only for young people, people who want to while away their time. But the internet and life and a lot has evolved, and today is now for business owners. Social media is now a place for people who mean business. It's not a place that you can make money without even seeing the faces of the people. I mean, madam, we have not even met. We've not even seen our faces, right?
Yes.
We don't even know what we look like. But we are here exchanging powerful information together. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. And it's only on social media that you saw this. And today is changing the trajectory of today and perhaps your life and your writing experience ever and forever. Okay? And that's the power of social media. And that's why we should all be on social media. And that's why we should all have a knowledge of social media because it's a game changer for everybody's career, including engineers who work in offshore. Having them on social media changes how employers rate them. And so I have a separate course on mastering social media. In that class is where I teach everything about where you should start from, who you should be targeting, everything about it, Facebook ads, Google Ads, blah, 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 everything about social media. I teach it in that class. And just like I compounded all this knowledge in 3 days. That's the same way all of this, all of the knowledge I'm telling you, I've compounded in 3 days as well. All right. It's called Mastering Social Media class. That class is 10,000 naira. And it's mostly people who don't know where to start from. Perhaps they've been so far away from social media and don't know how to embed it into their everyday life. There's a technique to it. I post every day. I post every day. I manage people's social media platforms and I post every day for them. And yet I have time to do all of the other things I have to do, including writing 2 books currently. One of them I got ghostwriters to write because it's a book about myself and I want to make sure I read it of bias. And then it's also a time management skill to delegate when necessary. Otherwise, I can do it myself, right? And so, because I understand the knowledge of social media, okay, let me just give you an idea why it's important. It's beyond, social media knowledge helps you build a digital footprint. You are not the first person that I have worked with. We've never met ourselves. Yet we've exchanged millions. Like I've been paid at least 1 million naira. And some of them I've never met them. We've never met. But when they Google my name, you see my screen?
Okay.
All right. So I'm trying to Google my name. When they Google my name, and they're able to answer some questions, it clears their doubts. There are so many trauma examples in this world. So how come it's only my face that is showing in all of this? And by the time you keep scrolling down, no other trauma is the one for showing. It's only my own trauma is the one for that will be showing. Okay. The websites have been mentioned in. This is just the first page. Let's go to the second page. It's still mentioning me, my TED talk. Excuse me. It's still mentioning me. No other trauma is the one for yet. This is still me. This is still me. This is still me. This is still me. Second page. Let's go to the third page. This is still me. This is still me. This is still me. Yeah? This is even a recent one on this day. Okay? Let's go. Now, see, it was at the third page, scrolling all the way down. Are you following?
Yes.
This is where we found the first trauma is the one that is not me. Okay? The next one is me. This is one of the people I worked with. And he wrote an article and credited that I helped his journalism journey in 2019. And it's showing, yeah? This is my company's website, talking about a documentary I did last year. Let me see, this is still me. This is still me. This is a write-up I did on our website, all right? Now, let me say something. This thing hasn't always been like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like this. This is the first page. The last time I did what I'm doing with you, I stopped saying everything about me by second page. The last time I did what I'm doing now. But here we are. I'm at the fourth page and I'm still seeing me. Are you seeing what I'm showing you? Yes. So there's the concept of deliberately building your digital footprint. I've been to, during the lockdown, I go into Zoom meetings where even my camera is turned off. But the moment I introduce myself, someone will say, I know who you are, go ahead. Wow. And let me say this. Someone will say it's because you work in a radio station. But my role in the radio station doesn't mean that I have time to go out. Half the time I'm seated at my desk working. I go nowhere. The only place I go is with my social media platform. I walk around the world. I've been to rooms where I was the only Nigerian. And I don't have to go anywhere, just seated at my desk doing my work, but I have traveled everywhere just with the power of social media. So I take my time to talk about knowing it, because learning content writing without planning to explore social media is somewhat a shortchanging of yourself. Let me put it that way. It's like shortchanging, like a slight way of, you slightly shortchange yourself when you don't explore social media in that manner. All right? So those are the skills to sharpen so that you write great content online. The knowledge of social media, your time management, your search engine optimization skill, originality, research, editing, and then the big and biggest, writing. And that's where we'll end it for today. Tomorrow we'll talk about the rules of content writing. Everything has a rule. Some say know the rules, then ignore it. But first know the rules. Some people do not know the rules, how it works, and that's why they'll finish writing. Nobody has clicked. Break them when you want, but at least know them. Like sometimes I make a post on Instagram. As I'm posting it, I know that post is not going to do well because I'm breaking some rules. But that's the amount. That's the amount that my time at that time permits me.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and still post it because it's all about consistency. I'm prioritizing consistency over likes. Right?
Yeah.
Because you told me that the post you saw was posted 3 days ago.
Yes, it was 3 days ago.
Okay. So see what I mean? So what I prioritize is consistency. I don't prioritize likes. Right? Some people are following you, paying attention to your work. They're not engaging yet. The day they will engage, you're not the first person that just showed up and paid for this class. You're not the first person. Some people will see a post, then they go back and start researching about you. They go to your page and stay on your page and check out everything you've ever done about that thing to know whether you even know what you're talking about. And then once they just call you, they are calling you to pay for the class. You don't have to convince them again. You did that, right? You see?
Yes.
So that's why social media you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. So knowing the rules of content writing is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And you can break it when you want, even to know when to break it. So we're going to talk about all of that tomorrow. And then we'll talk about, I've talked about how to do research. So we'll talk about SEO writing, the tools of SEO content writing. Then we'll talk about coupling content, right? Coupling content is, we'll use the kind of content you're planning to work on, which is a report, as an example, so that it can be relevant to you. And then how to write engaging captions. This is where we can solve the problem with Instagram captions. But that's not really the type of caption I'm talking about. But there I'll share with you tools you can use to know whether your caption will be engaging or not. There are still tools. I'll continue to share tools with you tomorrow. There are so many tools. And with those tools, you can never say you don't know what to write or don't know how to write it. Because those tools are there to set you free. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So see you 4 p.m. tomorrow.
4 p.m.
Yes, 4 p.m.
Oh, okay, not 8.
It's 4.
All right.
8 was shifted because I was on transit. And then because I was on transit, I wasn't sure the network would be stable. So, like I said, this particular weekend that was supposed to be scrapped. But when I noticed that there's a window, I said, let me take in. I think when this lady, I said, let me just go ahead and do it. If not, it wasn't supposed to hold anymore because I was traveling and I wasn't sure of a lot of things, just carrying internet connection.
All
and
right.
say, I'm happy I did, especially for someone like you who really wanted to do it immediately.
Yes. The moment I saw it and I went through your page, a few posts, and I was convinced. I said, okay, let me call.
Right? So I usually would always encourage that you please share a review of today's class with me. Just go on the WhatsApp platform where you've been added and share a review of what you liked about this class, what you didn't like, or what you would prefer we can do differently, and just a review, a proper review, few words, many words, as you like. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So do have a good night.
You too.